Hey girl, it's time to seize the day with Steffenfeld's new game, Carpe Diem. It's a tile-laying game for 2 to 4 players, published by Ravensburg, and not yet published in North America, but releasing soon at Essen. As most Steffenfeld games are, it involves a lot of explaining to get started, and it's a bit of a point salad. But once you've got into the flow of it, it actually goes really well. There's a tile that tells you everything you can do in the game with good iconography. So once you've got that figured out, you're good to go. There are some cool, new, interesting mechanics in this game that I'm really excited about. First is the scoring. You're going to score 4 times in the game through this rubric-like grid mechanism. You're going to place your marker between 2 scoring spaces and then score each of those cards. If you can't score the card, you're going to lose 4 points. I lost a lot of points, so make sure you pay attention to that. Then there in the center, there's a rondelle. However, it's a rondelle through kind of a zigzag pattern. It's actually fun to walk through it with your person. And every time you encounter an empty space, you'll skip it, and each time you land on a space, you're going to pick one of those tiles and place it into your local player board. Your local player board also has a cool border on it that's different every time you play because they're different border pieces that you draw at the beginning. And this has another type of scoring on it for the end of the game. I found this really cool because it's a line-based score. So when I manage to cut my line through that building, I will score it. There's also spaces on the board that once you cover them up, you're going to increase your influence, and your influence will turn into points at the end of the game, as well as is very important so that you can score first. The rounds are kept track of through the scoring grid because each player has 4 tokens to place on that grid, and the turns are kept track of by when the center tile market is depleted. However, it does have some quirks. You start the game with some victory points, which are actually cards that you need to make change for all the time, instead of a track that you could actually just move yourself forward and backward on. The graphic design is akin to most Feld games and older games, even though it's coming out in 2018. The boards are very dark green and brown with very low contrast, making it hard to see where things are on the board, and there's a difference between the 2 types of green tiles that you have to separate at the beginning and the end of the game. The iconography at times was also confusing. Sometimes the same icon means a different thing and it's used twice, but surrounded by something slightly different. As well as there's times where the iconography is about whether something is visible or whether or not you have to pay something. Overall though, once you've got a hang of all of that, the game flows really fast and really quick, and of course you're building up this cool little city with tiles, and I was able to pay attention to how I was building my city and still make points at the end of the game. I love the tile placement in this game. The border scoring mechanic as well as the scoring grid mechanic are really cool. The rondelle is something that we've seen before, but the way in which it depletes and tracks the turn order I thought was really cool. But so make sure that you don't get discouraged by the fact that there are negative points. Like I said, I've lost points each 4 rounds, and I actually ended up winning the game with 83 points and created a really cool city. Carpe Diem, seize the day, because Shantae, you stay. The iconography is there